What a beautiful morning, ladies and gentlemen. Normally we record Monday afternoon for Tuesday and Wednesday's posting, but one thing led to another and we're doing it on Tuesday for Tuesday and Wednesday. And it's a great day, just a lovely, cold, 'tis cold, but a great day. Speaking of great days, we had a wonderful time on Friday around the dining room table. Special guest for the day would have to be John Howard, former Prime Minister. I miss the talks we used to have. He'd come on the program on 5DN probably once a month. Marvellous, marvellous Prime Minister he was. But then again, I'm somewhat prejudiced. We're having a wonderful time in the pool, clearly, in Paris. I heard this morning. We'll get to it in more detail later, but 5 gold medals and 4 silver medals. It's pretty good. And speaking of Paris, Louise sent me this. Thank you. Found it in a church. Found in a church and translated for me. When you enter this church, it may be possible that you hear the call of God. However, it's unlikely that he will call you on your mobile. Thank you for turning off your phones. If you want to talk to God, enter, choose a quiet place and talk to him. If you want to see him, send him a text while driving. Isn't that good? Very funny. Thank you, Louise. Thank you. It's Give Life Week. One way you can give life to yourself is do not talk on your telephone in the car. Basically, it's a week where we're encouraged to donate life for a week. Donate Life Week. It's a funny system we have. We could have a lot more, many more people donating their organs. Not a particularly cheery subject, I know. But I urge you to fix that on your license next time you renew it or whatever. Become a donor, an organ donor. It is a very good, worthwhile thing to do. I see that Ray Lawler, the man credited with creating the Turning Point in Australian theatre, esteemed author and playwright, has died a few days ago. He was 103. 103. Summer of the 17th doll and much, much, much more. It's almost Christmas. Pete?
Yes?
Peter Clayton behind the camera, ladies and gentlemen. Pete, it's almost Christmas.
I know it's frightening, isn't
Well, I know it's Christmas because I got an email from the Christmas tree farm. We go up there once a year and pick up a Christmas tree. But in July, the email just simply said, we have to remind you to place your order now. Okay, we'll do that. Domain says that house prices are up 2.4% this quarter and over 9%, 9.7% in fact on this time last year. Prices have increased over the last 6 consecutive quarters. Haven't missed one, according to Domain. 31,000 people, speaking of driving, snapped, if that's the proper expression, using their mobile phones. Here's the thing, and I want you to be aware of it. Apparently, people are being fined for other distractions, as well as the telephone, eating, drinking, iPads, pets in the car was another one. I wonder why those big touch screens that you see in the modern cars aren't seen as a distraction. They'd have to be. I can't see how you can operate a touch screen without looking at it. Taking your eyes off the road, it only takes a second. It's Missing Persons Week as well. 56,000 people have gone missing this year alone. Now that's up nearly 20% on the figures that were around 10 years ago. Do you remember that old, I think it was probably a Crawford production, a Radio Macquarie show? It was called Missing Persons Bureau. Every week there was a story about a missing person. It was a very good program. A lot of people, of course, go missing and actually don't want to be found. But I think at the moment there are probably, while 56,000 were reported missing, there are only about 3,700 that haven't been found. Now to Paris. A wonderful medal tally. Ariane Titmus, her second gold medal. Well, she's now got 3 after this morning. And they say that the opening ceremony contained a sketch. I didn't see that, but people are talking to me about it. A sketch satirising Christianity, the Last Supper in particular. I don't know, I find it hard to imagine in a country that would not dare to ridicule Islam, why would they allow people to send up Christianity? It's a very Catholic country. Well, Catholic and Muslim. Oh, I get it. Yeah, I sort of see. Yeah, Christians, we're supposed to turn the other cheek, aren't we? Yeah. You can't move at the moment without bumping into Olympic stuff. It's enormous. Quite a business, a big business. The money that people, the media, seem to be prepared to pay to get their hands on the exclusive rights. Some 350 million, I'm told, at 9 newspapers. That's 9 and 3AW and 2GB and The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald. They've certainly got a grip on the media, but $350 million for the exclusive rights, which aren't, of course, exclusive. Everyone covers the games in some way. The various results, that's really all you really need, and they're in public domain, more or less. The business of rights to cover things is interesting. I ran into it with the SANFL here, with when I had 5DN. They wanted, I think, $50,000 for the right to go out and cover the games, put a broadcaster there on the ground to call the local SANFL match. $50,000. Well, I suppose you could say, well, you go out there and you sell it and recoup the money that way. But I could never get my mind around, I dug my heels in, I could never get my mind around the fact that, yes, we wanted to cover the local football games, but they needed us to cover the local football games. It's a perfectly fine arrangement benefiting both sides. So what I did, I said, okay, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you $50,000 to cover all the games for the year, and you give me $50,000 for the promotion of your game, the SANFL games. They went away and thought about it for a while, came back, and that's exactly what we did. Fine. But make no mistake, when people sell exclusive rights to something, they probably need the media as much as the media needs it. 200,000 tons of clothing goes to landfill each year. I didn't know that. 200,000 tons. The climate warriors have decided to take aim at the rag trade, the fashion industry. Don't worry that it employs hundreds of thousands of people. Must be great to be unemployed on the dole, being paid to be a nuisance to society that is supporting you. That's a bit weird. Anyway, there is a germ of an idea here, and if you go further into what they want, the climate warriors that is, if we give our old clothes to second-hand shops and op shops, we would be given carbon credits, which we could trade. Speaking to you, as I do, from the garage, where just about everything has been thrown away by someone at least 3 times, and that includes me. I would have a fortune, Pete. I'd have a fortune in carbon credits around here.
You would. You would, yeah.
I still don't know how carbon credits work. How is it, by the way, that I'd like to ask you this question here in the court of public opinion. How is it that if you go to Arnhem Land, you will never hear a welcome to country? Wouldn't this be the very place that it may make sense? But no, it's in the cities, and the inner cities in particular, where there are very few Aboriginals, comparatively. Out in the country, no welcome to country. Go figure. Big demonstrations in favour of women. And of course, violence against women, domestic violence. That's wonderful. I applaud that. But I hate to see children being weaponised. A little girl, maybe, I don't know, she would have been about 3 at a demonstration here in Adelaide, holding up a sign saying, "Don't kill me." Little 3-year-old kid saying, it's just a terrible thing. I think that's child abuse. Could we keep the man-hating weak and the man-hating movement in some sort of perspective? But these horrible men are in the minority. It is terrible that it would appear that a woman is killed in a domestic violence situation each week in Australia. But would demonstrations like this do anything to help? Are the people we're trying to reach likely to be sitting there agreeing, nodding their heads? I don't think so. Those crowds that I saw on television, rent a crowd, possibly? The sisterhood? Feminazis? I don't know. Man-haters? I don't know. Is it concern or hatred? Are they going to reach the perpetrators? A much, much more positive campaign would be to direct itself to telling women, don't persevere. Don't stay where there's violence. These things don't just creep up on you, you know. They're there. Most people can recognise them. The moment coercion or violence occurs, call family, call friends, call the police. Say that you are in trouble. And don't be in permanent trouble and danger. Leopards don't change their spots. You can see it coming. Don't tolerate it. It won't get any better. It will only get worse. And that's how it always is with bullies. And these men, these perpetrators of domestic violence, are bullies. Here's a story. Chris Brown, you know, the Bondi vet. Ladies and gentlemen, I think he's a star. He could make it big anywhere in the world, Hollywood, wherever. But apart from that, he's a smart man. Pinched by 7 from 10. It was expected that he was going to replace Koch, you know, David Koch on Sunrise. But no, they didn't do that. They put some sports guy in there. Big mistake. And you guys, having him under contract, the best thing you could find for him was Dancing with the Stars, co-hosting Dancing with the Stars. What a waste. I remember, I'll tell you a little story. Back in the late 60s or, no, it might have been the early 70s, Channel 10 offered me a show. It was called The Internationals. You probably never saw it. I don't think anybody else saw it. I didn't do it, but it was just dancing. In those days, it was ballroom dancing. I just didn't get it. I looked at the format and the pilot and all the rest of it, and I said thank you, but no thank you. I don't know who eventually got it. It didn't last 10 minutes. But I can tell you this, that when you're hungry and broke, it takes a lot of courage to say no to anything that's going to put food on the table. But you've got to recognise something that could be good, short term, maybe make a little bit of money, but sink you for life. The Internationals. The first dancing show ever didn't work. This one on 7, well, I don't know. I just hope it doesn't sink Dr. Chris Brown. We're smack in the middle of the flu season, by the way. And we are way down on people getting their flu jabs. Please think about that. I just don't understand people wandering around in this day and age of enlightenment, trying to frighten people about vaccination. One of the first things Anthony Albanese did when he became Prime Minister was to create a ministry for the Republic. I guess what he meant was a ministry and a minister for the establishment of a republic. On the weekend, he scrapped it. Good idea. Could the man be coming to his senses? Maybe after the voice referendum, he understands that it's not necessarily what he wants, it is what we want. Anyway, could you think of anything more stupid than a minister of the crown to remove the crown? Bizarre. I'm going to get Philip Benwell from the Monarchist League on the show on Friday. Have a talk to him about that, see what he makes of it. If this government, by the way, wanted to do anything about the cost of living it's always carrying on about, it would call a pause on the constant twice-a-year increase in excises. That's a twice-yearly hike in the price of petrol, alcohol and tobacco. Now, this is something that this government could do now. Various governments have done so in the past, but what we get is crocodile tears. And you know, if the interest rates do go up with the incessant increases in prices, these excise increases, they do add to inflation. A constant upward spiral, government-sponsored upward spiral. And remember, half of every dollar you spend at the petrol station goes to the government. Half. And let's say, I don't know, let's say you go and buy a bottle of whiskey or gin at the bottle shop. 60% of that $50 or $60, 60% goes to the government in taxes, excise. That is the truth. Have we got time for some dates, Pete?
Yeah.
Because Pete has to run home and post this. So I ever tell you what a wonderful job you do, Pete?
Well, thank you.
Ah, it's true. It's the 30th. It sure is. The 30th. 30th of July. 1935, the first Penguin book is published, starting the paperback revolution. Now, I wish I had here what the first paperback was, but I don't. Never mind. 1928, George Eastman shows the first amateur colour motion picture to guests at his New York house. Included in the audience was Thomas Edison. 1928. 1908, around the world automobile race ends in Paris. I wonder what the cars, been quite a sight, wouldn't it, in 1908. Just imagine what the roads would have been like. Not very good. The last old-style Volkswagen Beetle rolls off the assembly line in Mexico on this day in 2003. Golly. Henry Ford, American industrialist and automaker. He was born in 1863. He died in 1947, but born this day. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Austrian-American bodybuilder, actor, Terminator, politician, 38th governor of California. He was born in Austria on this day in 1947. I think I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for viewing the Court of Public Opinion. We will be back tomorrow. Don't forget live streaming on Friday, 9 till 12, jeremycordeaux.com. Believe in yourself. We'll be back in the garage in the morning. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton and I will see you soon. Bye for now.